Is this like a first time trying?
It had to be out of
I said not to trip over mine.
Why don't we get started, everyone? Why don't we get started? Come here, Ed. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. And everybody got their agenda for our meeting. Everybody has the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All the man got it. Any questions? All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Kevin, that's unanimous. Approval of the prior meeting minutes. Has everybody got a chance to review the minutes from June 26th? Seems like a long time ago.
Should we approve?
Okay. Motion of approval, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Michael seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from June 26th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I think that's unanimous also. All right, Brian, you want to update us on the Western Regional Partnership?
Yeah. You could say that our pace is a little more deliberate. Everybody was waiting to see what might appear in legislation directly around regionalization, or maybe even especially more broadly around some of the bills that were out there, Medicaid modernization. And the House and Senate each had competing approaches in bills and language. And I guess as everybody understands, they punted on that and initially led folks to believe that they'd be reconvening in November, and it looks like that's pretty unlikely now. Lanier was explaining to me that technically the governor has to actually call the session, and the House has been the one most vocally saying that the November session, I don't know how it's been characterized exactly, but there wasn't great interest in coming back in November. However, that was being described, I'm not sure exactly. And there's more allegiance between the House and the governor than any place, so it would be pretty unlikely that the governor would step in and call for that special session. So, that being said, our strategy has continued to be to do the things that make sense to do, because we're similar, or not similar, identical businesses closely located to one another, and really wanting to become as efficient as possible and to standardize as much as is beneficial. So we continue to do those things, and one area where we have made progress, and I just signed on to this yesterday, is an agreement about doing backup. It's kind of a mutual aid society is how I think of it. Firemen all back one another up on fires, and that we would each do backup for one another for our call centers. So Centerpoint, Partners, and Smoky would all kind of be in this pool of backing one another up. we tend to, we've used Cardinal for years to do this. It's times when, oh, you know, the bottom drops out of something, you know, the phones are all broken, or, you know, weather problem. I think it can also happen when call volume is such that we can't manage it. You know, and all of these situations, of course, are becoming, you know, more and more infrequent. It's typically when we plan to take people offline for a staff meeting or something we're doing, and sort of plan ahead of time. So those are the main reasons why we do it. You know, the notion that we could support one another with this just seems like a reasonable, you know, kind of way to go at this. The more that we can do to support one another and contract with each other rather than somebody else, the better. It's not going to be really a huge big deal. I think how it'll really work out, it probably sounds more significant than it is. Really, I think it's just the urgent calls that are going to be done for Steve. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, but anyway, that will be important for everybody to see that we're working together. The other continues to be, you know, the bigger area really is around the credentialing project. And again, this is just an activity that everyone is required to do that looks at basically the quality of licensed healthcare professionals. You know, we're the ones responsible for that. No one else. So we have to check and make sure people are in good standing in all ways, shapes, and manners. It's kind of an arduous process. Not the kind of thing most organizations, you know, love doing. So, you know, it's an activity that is well suited to creating a larger scale of economy. You can actually do it better by having a larger scale of economy. And, you know, we're taking the lead on that so that we would be the organization responsible for doing that, and under contract with Partners and CenterPoint would be providing that service. When are we supposed to go up on that? October? So we're micromanaging that. Lots that has to be done between now and then. We're good at staying on task. So those would be two activities where, you know, regardless of anything that happens to regionalization, again, just, you know, these are business activities that make sense to do. It's kind of where we've tried to hold the conversation. And we'll see what happens with the General Assembly. I think people, I don't know what they forget, but, you know, the relationship between DHHS and the General Assembly, you know, DHHS is really in the corner. And they can have all kinds of plans to do whatever, but they don't have the authority to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. A little bit later, I'll talk about a feature that I think influences a direction we're taking that, you know, has bearing on this. I'll say that later. I don't know, any questions? Anybody? You really don't even really hear anything about it, right?
Okay, thank you. County Commissioner Advisory Board. Michael, you want to give us an update from our meeting?
Sure, so
And Shelley?
Shelley can assist too. We met at the County Commissioners Association annual meeting in earlier in August, the 16th, I believe it was, and had pretty good attendance, but there were still a number of counties who weren't there. The attendance was better just because we had some county managers who came and some folks who just wanted to sit in, that were commissioners, but they weren't the one that was assigned to the committee.
Yeah.
We reviewed the recommendation for how we thought they might want to set up the advisory board. In the end, they made some changes. we had suggested, for example, meetings within the regions, and then those folks coming together with me at a separate meeting, but they wanted to meet one time a quarter as a big group. So we agreed that we'll do that once a quarter, and they wanted to do it in Asheville, not rotate it, just make it central, so that nobody had to drive too far within the district. They were okay with the proposed agenda items that we covered and, or that we suggested that they cover in their various meetings. Probably the biggest thing was questions that had to do with more statements, really. They were concerned that they didn't have any real authority and what was the real purpose, even after we tried to explain some of that and evaluate it to them. But and I thought it worked out fairly well. Could have been worse in terms of, weren't as many complaints as I thought there might be.
I actually thought the meeting went really well. I think Brian did a really nice job of starting the meeting off and setting the tone, assuming that most of the members probably, they may or may not know about Smoky, they may or may not know why this County Commission Advisory Council was being created. So Brian did a PowerPoint presentation where he sort of walked through who we are, what we do, the legislative mandate around this council, what their roles might be, which is fairly general, I would say, in the statute. I think that the group, I was actually very excited that the group decided to meet as a whole. I think in some of our thinking, we thought it might be more convenient, but I think that we are one LME MCO, so it's appropriate that they meet that way. I think you have some good members who will really be leaders. One of the things I think it will be helpful with, and we saw like with Gary Blevins from Wilkes County, some of the concerns that we had earlier around when the board changed and some counties not being represented. I feel like this will be a good way to sort of smooth through some of that, as it gives the group an opportunity to really have input. And I think it's our responsibility really to work with them to make sure that that what they're doing is not only valuable to them, but valuable to us. And I think just the information sharing, kinds of information they're requesting is something that would be helpful as they go back and talk to their counties. If you look to, if you have any interest on the Smoky website, because we are a public body, there is a new site on our website that Ed Woody created where we have the meeting notices that will be posted, and they're going to be quarterly. There would be the agenda, the materials presented. In this case, we only have the PowerPoint that we put on. And then the minutes will be the same process as we use for the board, that we will have draft minutes, and they won't go on the website until they're approved by the advisory council. So all in all, I think it was a good day. And, I think they agreed to meet on Thursday evening, so I'm with Mandy, we may want to revisit and go for Saturday, so I don't know. Brian says no, okay? It's hard to find a good meeting day for everybody.
Yes. And Shelley, Brian did do a great job of reviewing Smoky and I was pleased.
Okay, you're gonna meet the first month of the quarter.
Yeah, one of the things that came up, especially knowing the holidays are coming, is the next meeting, we agreed on Thursdays. So, in talking with Michael and Brian, we thought the second Thursday of the month, as long as we're meeting on Thursdays, would be a good time, because that gives us time to then not only meet, but prepare any report or written materials. I think from now on, I'll work with Michael to make sure he has something, some kind of a handout, just about the meeting and what was done that the board can review. The second, I think he said the second Thursdays in November, second Thursday in November, we'll actually send out a meeting notice next week, but I think we will try to meet 1st of the first month of each quarter. That gives us a little time if we have issues with weather in the winter that we can still regroup and get back together.
Just say like October to November, October.
November, would that be
No,
October? Okay, I know we agreed to meet before the holidays, so I'll write that.
Yeah, they were looking to us, you know,
Set
they,
time.
they said Thursdays, once a quarter. They were leaving it to us to work out the.
Chuck, what I'll do too is, at the next meeting, I'll bring a proposed meeting calendar to the rest of the board, so people can write about their calendars.
And we'll meet at where we talked about.
We talked about meeting at the, especially if it's in the evening, at the Asheville office.
That's what I was thinking, that's kind of hesitated because I'm not sure that's what you mentioned.
Which reminds me to open my calendar, and Jill did that on our meeting schedule.
Okay. All right, let's move right along. Our next item on the agenda is the board approval for the CEO contracting authority. Tracy?
Sure. This should be fairly straightforward. Just since we're a new board and we don't have anything in the minutes that I can find confirming this, there is a statute that allows the governing board of a local subdivision of the state to delegate the authority for awarding certain contracts and signing contracts to an employee of the entity. Chuck and Rick are probably very familiar with this with their counties. Their counties have delegated to them most likely the authority to sign contracts and award certain contracts. And so what we're asking is that the executive committee make a recommendation to the full board that we move to authorize the CEO to award contracts within the limitations of Chapter 143. Just really for my peace of mind, so that we don't have any complaints later that the board had not allocated that authority to run and have a challenge based on that. Does anybody have any questions for me or Jay?
For what it's worth to tell, I don't know how I've operated from day one with smoking, and quite honestly, with Western, it just, I can't even remember that we explicitly talked about it. In the management agreement, there was no ceiling on my authority with contracting, so this is really just putting to ink the agreement we've always had.
So are we recommending to the full?
Just so we have it documented in the minutes, it just prevents a challenge later on.
And I appreciate your confidence in me. I really mean that. Even with others, some of my colleagues have some very different arrangements with their bills. Let's say that.
Again, the chapter of the law that,
143, 129.
okay,
And there are certain types of contracts that would always have to come to the board under the statute. Construction contract in excess of $500,000, there's a couple other examples, but, so those kinds of contracts would still have to come before the full board, because that's a requirement of the statute. Anticipate us engaging in any giant construction projects anytime soon. But this is really just to confirm that you as the board have delegated this authority to Brian.
this executive committee needs to vote on this, present it to the full board.
That's what we get. Need to recommend.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any more discussion?
Just a brief question. Do you think it would be more palatable that we want to object to it if we said, for example, that,
Speak a little bit louder.
I'm sorry, I was saying, do you think it might be a little more palatable to anybody that might have an objection if we said something like that, I'm not wording it well, but that Brian would consult with the finance officer to make sure that there were funds, available for contracts.
That already happens.
We could
And
stop
I
that.
know you do that as a practice, but I didn't know if making it formal in the authority.
There has to be a stamp on the
Yeah.
document that says it's been pre-audited by the finance officer for all of those kinds of contracts, so.
Every single.
Is that as per this
Yes.
one, that
That's
is?
actually as per 150, chapter 159, the local.
Okay.
So we don't
And we
need
do
ways.
that.
And there's also a provision
Yeah.
about $500,000 limitation on contracts that can be bid out, construction contracts, so that's something that has to be put out as a bid anyway. And opened up, so that would be a good thing.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you, Tracy.
Richfield. People know where the location of this is?
No.
Okay, well, you can either go down 26 and what exit is it? It's just down 33.
Blue
Where
Ridge
the
first.
Fillmore Square Mall is, where the
Yeah.
outlets are
Yeah.
gonna be, it's right there.
Or
Go up to the
Brevard
table.
Road, north
Is that what's happening in the mall right there?
So we'll be over on our lunch hour doing a lot of shopping at the outlet centers.
That's where I'm staying tonight. But
Okay.
I wondered what all the building was that went on over there.
Yeah, they're going hot and heavy.
Yeah, if you go up past the mall, there's the Kmart, you turn left.
Because you're headed south.
I know where it is, I mean, at the conference suites there right across from it.
You go in there and it's 200 is the suite area, it's on the left, one of the first ones on the left. Mission has been in there. It's good, by far, what I said before, it's the same deal, we're just getting official with it now. It's the best option. The value of the building we're currently in, that's owned by the county, is so much better for a treatment facility. It's just crazy. It's not a perfect setup for us anyway, so it's just been a matter of getting ourselves to the point where we can pull the trigger on this. So we'll see a resolution tonight about the state requires the board to have a resolution about the use of fund balance. So we have that for the finance committee. We will be doing that to please the board and the state. And I think our timeline, spring, maybe.
Will we occupy all of that mall out there, all that's being renovated?
Are we what?
Will we be occupying all of that
No.
that's being renovated?
We're behind that,
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay. What's going in front of it,
I don't know. I don't know what the stores are that are going to be there.
You're supposed to find out.
Will it remain a mall? I mean, it's my point. I don't
Yeah.
get
Well, there's going to be an outlet mall. I don't know.
Oh, it will be.
Do you know much about it, Mandy?
It's the regular, anti-fossil. Yeah, just the regular kitchen company outlet stores.
Okay,
It's
well,
early, sugar.
well, yeah, that's all right. I was just, what I was driving here was there other like providers going to be out there or near us, or would this in any way put us closer to providers or them to us?
No. I mean, it's a business park.
Okay.
That's really what it is. I think there's an insurance company out there, Winchen's out there. Mission has got a lot of space out there.
Okay, I've never driven back in time, so, you know. Okay.
So, I mean, it's certainly is convenient. It's great being downtown. But, it's just not not the right thing to do.
Access egress, a lot of, I think,
Yeah, it's easy to get to and get out. It's
how
not,
many employees will be out there? Just finish.
well, now, how many people go to work every day at Biltmore, Christina? Do you know?
There's 69 people, but we'll be looking a little bit more to a mobile workforce, so, you know, we have room for all those people today. Yes, very tightly, but so many of those people are, there's a lot of traveling offices, people come and go from the surrounding counties. So, but we feel good about what we've designed. But we're also moving some of the culture of our workforce.
So a lot of the people that work out of the Biltmore office downtown that travel out to various counties will be reporting and coming in down here and now. Correct.
Yeah, it's part of the
It's a lot
whole,
easier.
you gotta think about, the company we become, and the geography we have, and our own maturity of how we organize our human resources. And we took advantage of this, the timing of this move to kind of force ourselves into thinking, okay, who really needs to go to work there every day? And over time, we've learned a lot more about that. And certainly the consolidation of the Western and just our own maturity, and now we have so many satellite offices and things, so
Does
it's.
Smokey own this piece of property then?
No. It'd be great if we could build a building, if we ever thought we could look far enough into the future to have a place. It'd be fantastic.
Does that mean you'll be moving out of the town commission?
Biltmore?
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan for that is we've already been meeting with the county and RHA and Mission on this. Randy and some folks hosted a meeting just a couple of weeks ago. Really, our goal is to have a large-scale outpatient crisis center, with either relocating or adding beds to the existing facility-based crisis. So just to have a very large presence around both outpatient treatment and crisis management there at that site.
Does that be through Mission and
RHA.
RHA on?
Mission will be loving it. It'll be so close. So that's the plan.
Good.
Integrated care updates. We have some great projects moving forward. And Mandy, thank you very much for getting Jeff Heck on our board. That was a great play. Because we have a kindred spirit there. And we've just so rapidly developed a relationship with Mayhack, and that has helped strengthen our relationship with Mission. And all of this is really coming together in a very powerful way. And the county is significantly involved in this as well. I mean, Buncombe really deserves a lot of credit, And of course, as soon as I pick out a county, I got, 22 other sets of eyes looking at me funny, but, Buncombe makes a very big commitment to health and human services. It's just the way it is. And it's great that they can and are so invested in some of these projects, not the least of which is one that we're just about going live with, called the 1300 project, that will create health homes for individuals who are by and large indigent and, banging on the door of the emergency department and Mission. And we're a big part of the care coordination piece of that. It's hooked up with primary care site, the goal being you end up at the ED, we use that as a place where you can be identified, or there can be other referral sources, but that's kind of like a hotbed right now. People can be referred into this program, and they're followed up on within 48 hours, guaranteed to get a primary care, a medical home and to be bridged to whatever behavioral health treatment is necessary or helpful. Going to use peer support as part of that. It's a great model. That's one that we're doing. We also have, and we'll talk about this at the board, this would be an excellent thing. We could spend a lot of time talking about, I mean, we are creating the future. We're creating the future for Smoky, we're creating the future for, what I like to think of as an integrated healthcare delivery system for Western North Carolina. That's really what we're doing. And, of course, in partnership with others. IDD, Health Home, we really kind of built around Dr. Baker, who's just a highly regarded psychiatrist that deals with IDD individuals and families. He's done so over a couple of decades. Integrating him into MAHAC was our play so that, again, we could build this specialty care system within primary care and also allow him to mentor some of the residents there. Christina's been working a lot with that. I don't know what more you want to add to that, Christina. I know you're meeting, I don't even get to the meetings anymore. You're going strong with Dr. Crane, also is real deeply involved with this.
He is we've just had this phenomenal relationship with Mayhack, and Dr. Crane is kind of leading the way at this point in time for this IDD project. We are truly in the plan stages. The core group has committed to meet every 2 weeks for 2 hours. We're usually meeting 2 to 3 hours. We have just gotten all the data from Dr. Baker's caseload of 154 consumers, looking very, very interesting. So our first goal between now and January is to get Dr. Baker sitting in Mayhack, but sitting there within a primary care physician clinic. The 154 people all have a primary care physician, but there's some questions around some of those about how good a medical care they're actually being provided and medications being managed. So we have our first step of getting him there, getting enough in place where we can really say, if Smoky would be, as a matter of fact, I got an email today from somebody who said, it looks like if we could make this happen by January, we will be the first one in North Carolina to do this for this population, which will be very, very exciting.
In favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, sir.